Well, good evening, everybody. This is Jeff Berger, and welcome to Season 3 and Episode 3 of my Holistic Mental Fitness series, where myself and Mupo Entertainment LLC believe that we should all be living a life in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And mental fitness is the new physical health. So with that, before I bring on my very, very special guest tonight, who is Terry J. Walker, the infamous Terry J. Walker, to the stage, if I may. So as a certified holistic wellness coach, I'm really humbled to be affiliated with a group of humanitarian entrepreneurs who are aligned with the only holistic mental wellness company that focuses on the microbiome. And people say, what's that? So, hey, it's your gut, brain, heart axis health. And it is a science that is disrupting the health and wellness industry today, especially when it comes to mental wellness. So who out there hasn't really experienced stress, anxiety, depression, or even have had suicidal thoughts? I'm sure many of you can relate to what I just said here. And this interview series is really very near and dear to my heart because it allows us to really open up our hearts and talk about and have conversations about mental health. And to really get the message out, it's okay to talk and have conversations, but it's also good to talk about solutions, because this is where it's at today. Is people are looking for solutions that are safe, solutions that are working, and so we actually provide real solutions for the real people who are serious about getting their physical and their mental health back from barely surviving to thriving again. 4 years ago, I was barely surviving. Today, I'm thriving. And it's just amazing at 68 years old, how much energy one can have. So really, there is no physical health without mental wellness. And they are really two sides of the same coin. And they are actually essential and are vital for each other to coincide for us to be able to reach our peak potential health in this one life that we get to live. So with that, how you feel is not just in your head, it's also in your gut. And this is what I've been talking about, and we'll continue to talk about this amazing system that we have. And this is what we do best, is that we are sharing this amazing information across the platform here. So with that, before I bring on our special guest and introduce her, I am partnered with Mupo Entertainment LLC, and I'm really humbled to be a part of this family, the Mupo Familia, and it's allowing me to share my wisdom, my knowledge, and my stories, along with other people's stories on this platform. And you can actually get it. You can go to mupotv.com. It's also an Android as well as an iPhone app. You can go to your app store and download the app and get a plethora of amazing stories and TV series that are being shown on this TV channel, which is amazing. And with that, Terry J. Walker is one of the speakers, or hosts, I should say, who hosts her own show, and we'll be talking about that. So before we get started, I am going to take a quick little break, and we'll bring Terry to the stage. We'll be right back. Awesome. And I'm going to bring Terry up here and let's get her in here. Technical difficulties here. Terry, hey.
Hey.
turn this on and do, let's see what is going on here. I am the man behind the scene here and trying to bring us all on. So let's do this. And I'm going to do this here. Show and there we go. Let's see. Bring her on and solo on. And let's do, there we go. We are here. So it's always amazing because, you know, I'm the guy, I've got 3 screens here. I'm navigating the different applications here with this at Be Live program here that is allowing us to go live. But in any event, we're back here with Terry J. Walker, who is coming to us from Crossville, Tennessee. And Terry is a dog mom. And this dog is a special social media superstar, Bailey Bob. And she is a famous author, TV host, speaker, and a corporate trainer and coach. And Terry loves to inspire others to become their best selves. And Terry developed a masterclass titled Bridging the Gap. And it's for parents in early childhood educators. And she's going to talk about that. And she's also, as I said, she's got her own TV show where she hosts the IAM Power Hour. And that is also, as I said, it can be seen on Mubo TV. And her favorite quote, when you know better, you do better. I could go on for an hour with Terry's accolades, but please help me welcome Terry J. Walker to Holistic Mental Fitness Series. Welcome, Terry.
Oh, Jeffrey, you're beautiful. I just love you. And thank you so much for such a wonderful intro. I'm just wore out by it. You ready to call it a day?
Hey, you need your happy juice to give you more energy. There you go.
I need some happy juice. That's for sure tonight, especially. You know, I love working with you, Jeffrey. And, you know, the fact that you've got the mental health background and so do I, we've got a lot of things in common. And I've always said that the gut, a healthy gut is a healthy life, and everything is always interconnected, whether it's spiritual, emotional, mental well-being, and our physical well-being. So thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. So before I jump into the questions, share with the audience who Terry J. Walker is outside of your business.
Outside of my business, I think I'm a friend. I'm a Bailey Bob he's my social media superstar sidekick. I have to get that right. Mom, and he and I hang out together. I've got a cat that's named Toot the Kid, and they keep me company pretty much. But I love playing golf. I love the outdoors. I like to travel. And of course, you know, so many of us have not had that opportunity over the course of the past couple of years. And so those are things. But I guess I'm a lifelong student of learning and personal growth, along with wanting to educate, train, and help others to do the same.
Awesome. That is great. Yeah, personal and professional development has really become a passion of mine because there's so much amazing information out there, and it never hurts to, you know, just fill that brain with as much information as you possibly can. Yeah. So, all right, let's jump into this. Inspire and Motivate, IAM LLC, is coming up on its 8th year of business. Yeah. So what in the world made you move from a successful 25-year career in the medical sales industry into becoming a solopreneur?
Well, I'm going to fix just a little bit of that. It was 15 plus years in the medical sales, so you make me a little older than that. And then there was quite a few years into mental health prior to that. But yes, and actually, you know, I did a lot of training and stuff in medical sales, and I was in and out of doctors' offices quite a bit. But I was also going through my own feelings of there had to be more. There were things that I needed to be doing and stuff. So I ended up writing my book and became an author. And then that started taking me down some different roads of more and more personal development and wanting to help others. And so Inspire and Motivate was born with the acronym IAM, and that is I am. And for what, and those are 2 very powerful words. For what you choose to put after them, create your reality.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've seen the phrases I am, and then you create your own phrase about who you are, who you truly are, authentic, your authentic self. So Very, very nice. So you talked about mental health. You were in the mental health before you were in the medical sales industry. Share with us about the importance, such an important area that everybody, and it's really in the last 3 to 4 years, it's becoming the topic all over the world. So share with our viewers your passion, because we've had several conversations about mental health and what you've done with this in the past, but share your passion in regards to mental health. And I think it really relates to your current mastermind that you've got going on. But go ahead.
Working in the mental health industry years ago, and I worked inpatient, and there was such a stigma associated with it. And, people were like, "Ooh, you must be crazy. Ooh, do you think I'm crazy because you work in there? And are you reading my mind?" I mean, just, crazy stuff like that. And then, of course, now since the pandemic and all of the change that has occurred, and even all of the growth in technology, and better you having technology problems than me, by the way. But I'm not an IT guru. But the thing about it is, with all the change, and then of course with the pandemic, and we've all been isolated, and we've not known how to really manage this. And so mental health is really emotional health and well-being. Just as we take care of our physical and or our spiritual health, our emotional and mental health and well-being is probably one of the biggest key assets that we need to really look to monitor and take better care of. And so people get this confused with the term mental illness,
Correct,
if you will. And we're all on a continuum, and trying to balance that continuum of mental health or emotional health and well-being versus allowing it to go all the way over to one side and turn into potentially mental illness. And so I think if we can help to remove some of that stigma that's been associated with it for so long, and now with the pandemic, I think people are really beginning to have a better awareness of taking better care of themselves through their mental and, I say, emotional well-being. That seems to cross the bridge a little easier.
Yes, it does. It definitely does. And what you say is so true in many, many respects. And I just want to plug in here the research that I've done over the last 4 years. It's mind blowing what's really out there. And I'm just going to make this quick comment because so many people are just unaware of what's going on in our food industry today.
Yes.
There's over 10,000 man-made chemical preservatives in our foods today. And I did research on 25. All 25 result in stress, are triggers for stress, anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. And these companies know this. So we need to get people educated about these things, because I stopped after 25. There was no sense of going on because man-made chemicals were not meant for this body temple. So and it's so important, and it keeps getting worse. But I'm going to lay that to bed right now. That is we talked about gut health. It's so intrinsic and related to mental health in many, many ways.
Yes.
So your this master class for parents and early childhood educators is titled Bridging the Gap. Yeah. And this sounds really so incredible. And I'm sure there isn't another program out there like this, and you're going to have to share that. But share with our viewers why you created this masterclass and the significance it has on both the parents / the educators and then the children today in light of everything that's been going on in the past couple of years.
Well, I created this many years ago, actually, and had written a couple of books on it, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. And I did a lot of trainings back then. But with me working in the mental health, I always felt like we were missing something, because I was working with kids, but predominantly when I went in to be a program director on an adolescent unit, then I wasn't dealing with kids so much, but the neighbors, my program director partners next door were, and sometimes I'd have to cover those units. But the thing about it was I always knew we were missing something. And I was doing a lot of family therapy and I was running this program, but something was always missing. And I found out, or I realized, it was pretty much quality time. We were losing communication and we weren't, role modeling ourselves, and
Sure.
accountability. And if I had a dime for every parent that came in and said, it wasn't Johnny's fault, it was Susie down the street. And if I could ever find that Susie or Johnny down the street, I would have solved all the world's problems. But nobody wanted to be accountable.
Right.
They wanted to blame everyone and everything else for why
Yep.
their child was the way that they were. So, bridging the gap kind of got developed out of that. And then when the pandemic hit, and we were in so much isolation, and I dealt so much with a lot of this, plus I'd done a lot of personal growth and research over time and over the years too, and correlated the stress. And I'm a firm believer everything is connected, like I mentioned to you earlier about
Yep.
the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional, and the mind and body and all of that. And so everything is interconnected. And what I wanted to do is bring this all out and help parents and educators basically work together for the social emotional well-being of our children, because we were going through so much stress and chaos. And as we know now, Jeffrey, um, depression, anxiety, fear, unawareness of change, all of these things are on the rise. And of course, addiction and also abuse, all are on the rise. And if we don't know how to handle it, then how can we expect our children to deal with it? Number one.
Exactly.
Number two, I knew that after the course of all of this, with all the change in school, out of school, wear a mask, not wear a mask, fear, anxiety, anger, outbursts, all of the things that were going on, there wasn't going to be enough mental health to go around. And as I began doing corporate trainings, I did some corporate trainings for parenting type classes, and I have been for the last year. And you wouldn't believe the people who chat with me and there and go, I can't find anybody to help my child. I can't find any mental health. And so this program basically was born through a lot of that to understand. It's basically 3 master classes that are all in a course that is 8 hours of video modules that you can watch on your own time. The first one's entitled You Are Not Alone. The second one is entitled Making the Shift. And the third one is entitled Empowering You and Your Kids. And it all works together to help with even promoting self-esteem, understanding the emotional guidance system, signs and symptoms of bullying and abuse. I've dealt with physical, emotional, and sexual. And also dealing with all of the different emotions, understanding our emotions. Emotional intelligence is in there, and also even dealing with bullying. So there's a lot going on in this entire course, and I'm so excited to be able to bring it out for these parents and educators to be able to utilize it and hopefully help them to maybe have a little bit more quality time or see some things a little bit differently.
Awesome. That's great. And it's we need programs like this to bring awareness and just really educate from all sides.
Right.
And what I loved looking at your testimonials regarding the program, the assistant vice chancellor of instruction at the Tennessee Board of Regents, and then an administrator with the Early Childhood Development Center. So are just some of those accolades. Congratulations on that success of this program. And can you share, with the viewers, maybe 1 or 2 testimonials of success stories that you've seen through your program, so they can kind of get that other side of the coin, saying, okay, now you've got these 3 modules here, and they've done this, and they talked to the kids, and they talked to the teachers, and the parents are doing this, teachers are doing that. Now, what's going on with the kids afterwards, as well as the parents and the instructor, the teachers, because they're benefiting from this as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I predominantly focused a lot of this into early child educators like daycares and preschools and all of that, and then elementary, because I knew that they had a lot more time to develop in that, but they also had a lot less training, not the elementary teachers, but the others. And so I started the development of this for that. And I got back such things as this has spoken to me from the heart. Terry speaks from the heart. And I learned so much that I'm actually utilizing this in my own home and even in the public arena, because a lot of it is about growing from within.
Sure.
And then I've had some come back and say such things as, the parents have come back to us because their children are going home and talking to their parents about their feelings. Oh my goodness. And
Wow.
they're actually talking about their feelings because we learn to identify them. You know, a lot of people think, okay, fine, good, all right, bad, but those aren't feeling words. We're
Exactly.
actually diving down into helping them to identify it, because you don't go from 0 to 160 with anger without a lot of being upset, being sad, being
Sure.
frustrated, being anxious. And so if we learn to identify those feelings as we're moving through that scale, we can learn to handle and manage them more readily and effectively. So I actually had some that came back and said, we just can't believe it that, the parents are now even coming back and saying my child's talked to me about their feelings. And I was just elated when I heard things like that. And then some of them had said, this is absolutely phenomenal. And the children are the ones that benefit most from this.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you're getting to the root of it.
Yeah.
Which is what's missing in this whole, medical field, as from a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever.
Mhm.
It's what are the underlying causes, and let's dig down instead of putting band-aids over it.
Yes, and
So,
we've
yeah,
done that so much, and we're finding, sometimes you gotta rip the Band-Aid off, but,
right,
Band-Aiding something just is not going to work. We need to find the root cause.
right,
Just like even with stress, and you mentioned with your happy juice and such, and I know you're gonna talk about that more in a minute. But, if we don't learn to manage our stress more readily and
right.
effectively, that is causing such things as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and now we're even finding cardiovascular disease being diagnosed in children
Oh my God,
because of all of the stress and
the
things that are
stress.
going
Sure,
on. So
sure.
there's a lot of this intertwined working together, and we need to learn to manage our stress more effectively and readily. So yes, and I know you're going to talk more about that too.
Yeah. So I talked about the happy juice earlier, and this has been a game changer for me in regards to this happy mind pack, and everything that I promote is holistic based. It is science backed, clinically trialed, plant based, and we do have award winning accolades for some of the programs that we have, which is pretty amazing. But this particular mind pack, it really wakes up the brain, and it's combined with cutting edge neurotropics with potential potent adaptogens. And with this, it helps with motivation, mood, energy, as well as your overall state of mind. Because so many people are in that brain fog, and it's like, oh, they go to this room, and it's like, why did I come here? What did I come here for? So, they're confused, and these particular plants, and they're indigenous plants from all over the world. We don't have them here in the United States. We have to go worldwide to get these, and the science is there showing that these things, this particular product pack here, it provides motivation and brain health and neuron regeneration, focus, memory, mental energy, and endurance. And it really promotes a healthy, positive mood. So many people are in awful moods, and they cannot get out of that. So this is my daily go-to. I always have it with me, and I'm sucking away on it all day long because it makes me happy. So let me share a little bit about this here, and I'm going to leave the two of us up here. I usually hide us, but I'm going to keep us on here. Let's take a quick look here. Okay, so for those who watch that, so I'm gonna have to make a change next week because those words were a little hard to see. But if you are interested, go to the holistichappymind.com. You can see that video in full screen mode and get all of the information from that. And so with that, we're kind of coming up to the end of our interview here. These things go by so fast, but it's been fun. And I got 2 more questions for you, Miss Terry. Where can people find you?
Oh, they can find me at IamTerryJWalker.com, or they can go directly to bridgingthegaptraining.com if they want to know more about that. All of it's intertwined, but they can find out more about me or get in touch with me through IamTerryJWalker.com.
Awesome. And the last question here, if there was one piece of information or advice that you could give anyone who's watching or live or watching the replay, who is looking for that glimmer of hope from a personal, from a professional, or from a combination of personal and professional perspective, what would that advice be?
I would have to say that I'm a firm believer that we all have unique skills and abilities. Mm-hmm. And we need to be willing to have the willingness to what I call LNT, to learn new things, have that willingness to grow, always find gratitude, even if it's in the smallest things. Gratitude is key to any of our growth. Push through your fears and learn to trust your internal guidance system. My grandfather used to always tell me, Terry, if you always go right, you'll never go wrong. And when I was a little girl, I took that literally, that if I kept going right, I'd just always go around in a circle. But we have an intrinsic, intuitive knowing within ourselves that we all need to learn to trust and to utilize as our guidance system. And in the words of Dr. Wayne Dyer, when you're willing to change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change.
Awesome. That inner voice, that gut feeling, that gut emotion, your gut is telling you something. You got to listen to your gut. Yeah. So Terry J. Walker, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be my guest today in the season 3. And you really brought so much value. I'm going to have you back on maybe in season 4, season 5, because you really provided a great deal of information. And maybe we can go into a little bit more of the 3 little the modules that you've got in your mastermind. But we're really out there providing value. We want to be changing the world, and this is how we do it. We do it by planting seeds and one step at a time, because once you start treating your body the way it is meant to be treated, you'll come across some amazing aspects within your life. And next week, my guest is, I'm going to bring this up here. This is Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and who is a professional keynote speaker. He is a television show host, producer, recording artist, actor, and is an executive and associate producer of 360 TV. You'll have to join us on December 19th, because this man is just filled with craziness, if you will. And so with that, remember this: I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Everything is a choice. Finances today is the number 1 stress killer for most people. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have to be doing that. We're in a world of broken systems. Find a way to get out of them. And lastly, I want to say that mental fitness is the new physical health. And I will see you on the inside next week. Thanks very much. Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.